Okay, today guys, I'm going to demonstrate how to mix a color wheel for those of you who are at home and maybe you haven't done it before. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you a little lesson. So I've already blocked in yellow, red, and blue. And what I want you guys to do is to take the paints that you already have in your painting kit, and I want you to take the little line of paints that start with the white and end with the blue and flip it up like this, and then draw an X on the blue, the yellow, and the red. And the reason you're doing that is because they're the only colors that you're gonna use to mix the entire color wheel. It's because red, yellow, and blue can make all colors. So an X on the red, an X on the yellow, and an X on the blue. And then I want you to go in and start with your yellow, okay? You go in and you do an entire area of yellow plus this yellow, and then you'll probably wait for it to dry and come back. But it's easier to start with your yellow because otherwise you start with your blue, you mix it easy, and I'm gonna guarantee that you probably have to switch out your colors or your water probably 2 times at least while you're doing that, because it just gets super dirty and it's hard to keep yellow looking yellow, okay? So the next thing you're gonna do is using red, yellow, and blue, and I like to just keep my lids off while I'm working with it. I'm just gonna come in here, open up my red, yellow, and blue, and I'm gonna mix up orange, okay? So on Skyward, I gave you guys sort of an upload of a color wheel, and that color wheel is exactly the same as this color wheel here. And I'm basically gonna use this to compare my colors to, because we're gonna be doing primary colors, next is secondary, then tertiary colors, and they're all outlined on here. And if you were to hold this up, they would match perfectly with each area. So I'm gonna make the orange right now. And the first thing I'm gonna do is get into my yellow. There's also 2 paintbrushes in your kit. There's one like this that's flat and one like this that's smaller around. This is used to outline the edges of your shape, and this is used to fill it in, okay? So you need both brushes for the project. And I'll just go ahead and grab my paints. I'll need yellow first. Probably end up using quite a bit of yellow to make orange. And then I'm not gonna stick my dirty yellow paintbrush into my red. So I'm gonna just sort of set it in the water for a minute, and I'll grab some red to the side that I can pull in, because if I put the yellow paintbrush in, it'll destroy it. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how much red I actually need to make orange. And you guys will notice that I didn't use a ton. Oh gosh, that is so overpowering. That red is like, takes over the earth in 1 second, I swear. That is pretty orange, but let's see what if it matches on our color wheel. So we'll bring the color wheel over here. Dang, it's just a little bit too dark, right? So what we're gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wash off my brush again, the other one that's over here, and make sure you get it really good, because you don't wanna get your yellow all muddied up. If you do, you're gonna end up with a big old mess. I think I'll just put some yellow in this, because I'm gonna use it for yellow orange as well. It's better if you have like a bigger paintbrush to scoop in. This little guy is not exactly helpful. Good grief, sorry. I do know what I'm doing here. It's just that I'm trying not to make a mess. I don't usually use paint pots for my own personal painting, and I don't want to contaminate it, but that's okay. We'll just do it anyway. Get some paint, because I want about that much yellow, okay, to work with. I know it seems like a lot, but, and then we'll just go in and we'll mix it in till we get the right color. I'm gonna take a big scoop, because I accidentally did way too much red. And then I just kind of hold this little guy right over here until I see, you know, that's pretty darn close, right? Can you guys see that? Yeah, that's pretty darn close. Okay, that's gonna be our orange, okay? So then we're gonna come in here, and like I told you before, you should outline. It's best to outline. I don't always do it, I'll be honest, but it's best to outline the whole thing with the orange first. That way you can keep your squares tidy or your shapes tidy. A lot of people in class didn't do this, and I think they're wishing they had, because I did take off points for tidiness. So there's orange. And you'll notice that the primary and secondary colors are in the center of the wheel, and they're also pointing their pointed edge of the triangle to one shape on the outside of the wheel. Oops, wobbly, but give that a little outline, and then come and fill in with this. Okay, see, so now we've got a nice orange shape, and we made that by mixing red and yellow. Pretty cool, huh? Yay, color mixing. Okay, now this way is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna make yellow orange, okay? So when you have a color like yellow orange, the color that's in the front generally tells you which it has more of. So there's more yellow in yellow orange, okay? So instead of pulling yellow into this to lighten it, because that would take a lot of yellow, I'm actually just going to pull in a little bit of orange into the yellow that's over here. And that's gonna go a lot faster and be a lot less wasteful. So we're mixing it up. And let's bring the wheel over. This is a very important tool because you wanna squint your eyes, bring this over and go, yep, that's it. And if you don't do that, you end up doing your yellows and your yellow oranges way, way too dark. Because it seems like it's gonna be right, but it ends up being too dark. We'll outline it, oops. And then on this one, the tertiary colors, which is the tertiary color is orange and yellow mixed together. So a secondary and a primary mixed together. You only have to do one shape. You don't have to do the triangle in the middle, so that's kind of nice. Try to make it nice and tidy as best you can, at least. Some of the students in the class did double coats on things, and I guess if you had extra, you could go back through and do a double coat. That way you would eliminate being able to see the words. So there's that. Pretty snazzy, huh? Okay, so now red-orange over here is made by adding more red to the orange. And since we already have the orange here and we didn't mess it up, we can just go in and add a little touch more red and get a good mix. So I'm just gonna go in here. I'm actually gonna just plop it over there a little bit. And you'll see in just a second after I mix this up, that that's probably enough orange. It goes pretty quickly. Yep, there you go, red-orange. And now I'll show it to you without outlining it. You can come in if you use this kind of a brush, and I lay it horizontally, like almost horizontally on the edge, like a chisel tip, the way you would do painting or cutting in when you're painting a house. And it just, so I use it like a flat edge over. You can do this as well. I feel like it's easier to use the liner and then the flat brush unless you're experienced. And so yeah, there you go. That is from yellow to red. Now I'm gonna go do purple. Purple is harder, okay? You guys are gonna notice this. Purple is weird because blue and red are both really powerful colors, and sometimes you have to get a particular kind of blue and a particular kind of red to match the purple exactly perfect that's on the color wheel. But we'll go ahead and give it a try. Let's see what we can get with what we have. I'm gonna mix the blue into the red because, like I said, they're both really powerful, but the blue, because its value is darker, is way more powerful than the red. Let's try to get it out of here. And we'll just start mixing it in. And once it's all, everything that we have here is mixed together, we'll see that we are way closer to red violet. Can you see that? So that would mean that we need to add more blue, right? Because red violet has too much red. That's why it's red violet. We are gonna need red violet, but still, ooh, so close. Still in the red violet zone. I'm gonna take a little bit of it out and put it next to it so we can use it when we do red violet. And that way it'll make it so we need less blue. Contaminating my paint pot. There you go. Let's see how close we are. Ooh, we are so close. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty close. I just need a little more blue in there. Hope we don't take it all the way to blue violet. Oh, snap. Do you see that? Look at that. Perfect. Okay, so that's our purple or a violet. So we'll go in and we will, on this one I feel like I should outline it with the liner tool because it's kind of a funky shape. So we'll go in here and we'll just outline it nicely. And okay, sorry. Hopefully you can see this. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way so it's like wobbly a little bit. We'll outline this one as well while we've got it out. Okay, there you go. Outlined it. Now we're gonna come back in and fill it in. Okay, there you go. Now we've done purple, and remember we had red violet right here. So we're lucky that we kept that. So now we can just use it. And you'll notice that you use a lot of paper towels. I'm a paper towel waster-oo when it comes to this. I use a lot. This right here, this is gonna be our red violet. And since we only have to fill in, ooh, I wanna add a little red. That looks a little too into the purple zone for me. I'm gonna pull it back a little. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just really want it to be a distinct difference between the red and the purple on my color wheel. Not too close together. And like I said, tidiness is important. So try to stay in the lines. Okay. See how cool this is? Every single color can be made with red, yellow, and blue. I just love color wheels. I don't know why. I'm kind of an art dork. Okay, so then you take the regular purple that we made over here, and I'm just gonna take a little and shift it over to this side, and we're gonna add more blue because we're making blue violet. Okay, and like I said, if you are at home and you don't have a color wheel like mine, this little guy right here, the reference one, print it out. Go ahead, and if you have enough printer ink, at least print it out and see what you can do, because having that is just saves so much time in mixing your colors and getting them accurate. There we go, blue violet. One of my favorite colors of all times. And since I only have to do this shape and not the triangle, I'm gonna try to freestyle it. Probably make a little mess, but you know, doing that chisel method, like I told you guys before, laying it on its side. There we go, okay? Now, blue-green, okay? So blue and green mixed together. Like I said before, remember, green or blue is really powerful. Blue is like, psh, one little touch of blue and you're, you know, making a mess. So on this one, we're gonna do yellow first because we have to make green, right? So we're gonna grab yellow. I know it seems stupid that we have to make it even though we have green. Miss Kennedy, we already have green in our things, they said. But you'll never learn how to mix all of them. And now you know you don't have to spend as much money on paint. If painting ends up being your thing in your future and you really want to paint, just even as a hobby, you don't have to spend half as much money on paint if you know how to mix your colors using red, yellow, blue, black, and white. All you have to buy is the primary colors plus black and white, and you have enough paints to do whatever you want with. Now, this color green is going to be a hard one for you to get with these paints. Remember how I said earlier that certain blues and certain yellows make better colors? These, for some reason, I feel like this blue is off, and it makes our green almost look like army green. But try your hardest, and we'll see what we can get to get a nice, close enough to green, I guess. It's almost like it's a tone or a shade, but good grief, it hardly looks green. It hardly looks green. It's so bleh, mucky. So yeah, expect that your green's gonna be a mess, kind of. See if we put more yellow, what will happen. Mess around with it. See if you put more yellow, what happens. If you put more blue, what happens. And then hopefully, I mean, that's pretty close to this one, I think. But, oh goodness, green. Let's see, if I put this green over here and I add a touch more yellow, I hope you guys can see this, yeah. I add a touch more yellow to this, then we are gonna have the yellow green, okay? So, based off of that, I can comfortably use that as my green, even though I'd rather not, because I feel like that's the muckiest cucka green I've ever seen, okay? So, let's put in the yellow green. Now this one has more yellow in it than it has green, because it's closer to the yellow. Color is such a fascinating thing, you know. They have whole entire courses in college just on color. Oops, I made a wobble. Yeah, just on color. It's pretty cool. You can learn a lot. Now on the green, like I said before, I'm gonna use this liner when I have to do the triangle because it's just a little, oh, it's just a funky shape and I don't like to cut in with my flat brush. Okay, and I noticed a lot of my students trying to draw with their paintbrush like it was a pencil, but it's not really a pencil, so you might find that that angle that you hold it on isn't the angle that you like to paint with. So mess around with it and find the angle that you like to use. There's not really a specific rule about how you have to hold your brush. And some of you guys might find that holding it like a pencil is not your favorite. Hopefully this green is going to be distinctive enough to separate from the yellow green, but we'll see. Okay, got those outlined. I'm going to come back in with my shader or my, they call this either a bright or a shader because it's what we use to fill in, to shade, to get it all figured out. That's what we call a shader brush. All right, okay. We got our weird green going on. And now we just need blue green, which is this green that we're mixing up right now, mixed with blue, right? And we probably don't need to mix a ton of blue in there because like I said, blue takes over. Kind of like it does in life, huh? The blues. Just kidding. Okay, let's see if we can get a decent blue-green. I love blue-green as well. That's another favorite color of mine. That might be as close as we get with this weird green. Okay, so it's more of a tone, but it's there. You'll know what I mean by a tone in a few minutes, because we're going to talk about, in the next video, we're going to talk about tints, tones, and shades, because you're going to use that for one of your next projects, which is just an exercise. All of these color mixing projects are exercises to get you ready for your final painting, which is going to be a painting that you make up, but you're going to have to use a color harmony, and you're going to have to mix your colors. So it's really good. You're going to have so much knowledge about art, you're not going to know what to do when you're done with this class. Okay, there you go. Looks like I splatted something over there, but there you go. You have a color wheel, all painted using red, yellow, and blue, so you should give yourself a hand, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.